Khamzat Chimaev has joined Arman Tsarukyan to help him in the final days before his fight against Dan Hooker at UFC Qatar. Khamzat was seen helping Arman in his training and weight cut ahead of the fight. Arman Tsarukyan explains that a fight with Dan Hooker feels risky for him because he has a #1 contender spot to protect, while Hooker comes in with nothing to lose. He says a loss would push him back several steps, which is why he feels even more motivated to make sure he wins.
This is like a kind of risky fight for me because I have something to lose, but for Hooker, nothing to lose. If he loses to me, he said, yeah, okay, I'll lose to #1 contender. But for me, it's 3 steps back. That's why I'm very motivated and ready to beat him.
Dan Hooker also talked about this matchup and made his intentions clear. He explains that his plan is simple. He wants to land a head kick on Arman and then see how Arman's wrestling holds up after that.
In your last fight, Mateusz Gamrot followed your kicks to shoot his takedowns. So do you think Arman is going to try to do the same, or do you planning to box as a plan A?
I've been saying all week I'm going to kick him in the head. I don't think that there's no rocket science. Kick him in the head, and we'll see how he wrestles after that.
Arman Tsarukyan makes it clear he plans to stay at lightweight for the next 2 to 3 years, and he explains that he wants to break as many records as he can at 155 before even thinking about another division. He adds that only after accomplishing everything at lightweight will he consider moving up. But for now, his full focus is on dominating the division.
Yeah, Islam moved, but if I beat all records here in 155 to be a champion and defend as much as possible, and then yeah, probably I'm gonna think about the move division. But right now, 2-3 years, I wanna stay here and beat all records in 155.
Meanwhile, Dan Hooker also shares his view on Arman pulling out of the Islam fight. He believes it gave Topuria and other big names a reason to avoid him. Hooker explains that Arman is a tough, talented contender, but the last-minute withdrawal made top fighters hesitant to accept a matchup with him. He adds that the situation handed champions and bigger names an easy excuse to pass on the fight.
He's a dog, but he's a very talented fighter. Very good at winning fights, and then because of, I guess, how his title shot kind of played out, he pulled out last minute. It gave like a lot of the bigger names in the division like a reason to not accept the fight. Like it gave the champ can just say he's a pullout. You know, the other guys, the bigger name guys like Gagey and stuff can just say, nah, the guy's gonna pull out anyway. So it's like he just gave them a good reason. And so looking at the division, I could just see and I was the only one that was gonna take the fight.
Hooker also joked about the chances of Arman Tsarukyan pulling out of their fight. He mentioned that everyone sees him as a tough matchup, and no opponent is ever withdrawn on him. Hooker added with a laugh that he must just have a very punchable face.
I mean, you're like an anywhere, anytime kind of guy, so I'm anticipating you'll just say yes.
That's the beauty of it, though. Like, for some reason, everyone thinks I'm shit. So then I've never actually been pulled out of in my life. It must be my face, because I smile all the time and have a joke with everything. That people I must just have a hell punchable face, because no one ever pulls out of me. I know some fighters that I've trained with and they've been pulled out on like in the double digits, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did.
Furthermore, Dan Hooker explains why he has such a strong dislike for Arman Tsarukyan heading into UFC Qatar. He says Arman reminds him of a rich, spoiled kid, while he sees himself as a fighter who represents the working man. Hooker says he built his career through hard work, grit, and grinding his way through tough moments, while Arman grew up with access to the best coaches, the best training, and an easier path. To him, their matchup feels like the working man versus Richie Rich.
Oh, I feel like I'm a fighter for the working man, you know, and kind of represent just hard working and sticking at it and gutting things out and accomplishing what you want through that. And I feel like he's kind of just had everything hand it to him in the best training and the best coaches and fly around here and just kind of had the easy road. So it's kind of just the working man versus Richie Rich.
Dan Hooker makes his feelings about Arman Tsarukyan even clearer. He says Arman acts like a mouthy, little rich prick, and he's not someone who ever backs down from that kind of behavior. Hooker says that if they cross paths, he's not the type to be pushed around or bullied. He explains that he'll always stand his ground every single time.
I don't think it's just talk. Like, I don't even like to say, like, I'll in this situation, like, I'll do this. Like, I feel like he is, he's just a mouthy little rich prick. You know what I mean? And I'm just not a person that backs down. That's just the situation that we're in. I feel like we'll just have to wait and see. We're just gonna have to wait and see till we see each other.
Almost like a bully, right? Like a bully. Like he's just trying to bully you. Like he's got the upper hand and he's gonna see if he can bully you. Like that. And I think that is a real attitude some guys carry.
Yeah, I'm not a person that you can just push around and bully and expect to back down. I'm going to stand my ground 10 times out of 10.
On the other hand, Arman Tsarukyan gives a clear warning about personal boundaries. He says, fighting is business, and there are limits to what anyone should say. If Dan Hooker or Ilia Topuria ever cross those lines, or talk badly about his family, things would not end well for them. But being called a spoiled kid is something he understands, and he doesn't take it personally.
He never talked personal, to me, you know. If I have something on my personal thing, I would take him out from his room and talk to him. Same Ilya. So it's just business, it's just fighting, but there is a levels of trash talk. If he touch me or my family or something, like with bad words, but about spoiled kid, about that I understand, you know.
However, Dan Hooker continues to go after Arman Tsarukyan, calling him a spoiled rich kid who grew up with everything provided. He says Arman keeps trying to discredit him and even spreads false claims that he avoids fights. Hooker believes their paths are completely different. He built his career from nothing through hard work and toughness, and he insists that no amount of money or privilege will help Arman beat him once they step inside the cage.
Well, I think he's a prick. Like, he's just been chiming at me since he first got in the UFC, and I'm just not one. I'll chime back, you know. Like, he just makes it like he discredits me as a fighter. He says that I turn him down and running away from him and stuff like this. So he's been carrying on for all these years, and now I've obviously chimed back, and I'm not one to mince my words when I'm talking back to someone. I just kind of think he's a spoiled little rich kid that's had everything handed to him, and I think I'm like the epitome of, I'm just the complete opposite of that. Like, I've taken everything that I have, I've worked hard, I come out of nothing, so I just love to just rub it in his face, really. Money can't help you beat Dan Hooker. That's what I want to. Money can't help you beat Dan Hooker.
Arman Tsarukyan openly shows appreciation for coming from a wealthy and supportive family. He says having that kind of background gives him more chances to grow, invest in his career, and chase greatness. He explains that his main goal is to become UFC champion next year, and that ambition drives him to train every single day. Tsarukyan is confident he will earn another title shot, and he believes his hard work will pay off. Arman Tsarukyan said, "It's always better to be from a good family with money because they can invest in you. This background gives me more opportunities to get better. I want to be UFC champion, and it's my goal for next year. Because of that belt, I train every day, and I know I'm gonna get a title shot again." Meanwhile, Carlos Prates shared his thoughts on the Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker fight. He says he likes both fighters but favors Arman to win. Prates explains that Arman is the more complete fighter with strong striking and grappling. He adds that he personally likes Arman's style more than Hooker's.
Bro, I like both fighters. I think Tsarukyan gonna win because he's more complete. He's have a good striker, and he's a good striker. I have a good grappling also, but I like it more than Hooker. You know, his style. I like more.
Former UFC champ Jamal Hill also believes Arman Tsarukyan has the edge over Dan Hooker. He explains that Arman isn't concerned with putting on an exciting fight and will simply come out, grab you and grind until the final bell. Hill points out that Hooker loves thrilling fights and wants to entertain the fans, but Arman isn't interested in any of that. He adds that unless Hooker hurts Arman early and forces him into adversity, the matchup is likely going to be a boring fight.
The Arman. Because you already know what he's gonna do. Because he don't give a shit about the fight Dan exciting. Dan Hooker likes good fights. He likes exciting fights. Dan likes to please the fans. Likes to please you. Arman don't give a shit about that, bro. He's gonna come out and grab you. He's gonna drive until the end of until the bell rings. So he don't care. He don't care about making it exciting. That fight, unless Dan hits him with something early and like hurts him and like can make him like kind of have to fight through some adversity, it's gonna be a boring ass fight.
Mateusz Gamrot also predicts the Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker fight at UFC Qatar and favors Arman. He explains that Arman has the better chance because he's the more complete fighter with strong jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and sharp striking. Gamrot sees the matchup as 60-40 in Arman's favor. He adds that if he defeats Jalen Turner, he hopes to face whoever wins between Arman and Hooker.
I see Hooker has fight with Arman, and if I pass Charles, I can fight with the winner of Arman versus Hooker.
Who do you think wins that fight?
I think Arman has more chance to win this fight because he's more all-rounder fighter, you know. Good wrestler, strong, good jiu-jitsu, good striking movement. So I think 60-40 for Arman, he can beat Hooker.
Meanwhile, Dan Hooker expects to climb the rankings and earn a fight with Ilia Topuria if he beats Arman Tsarukyan at UFC Qatar. He explains that Topuria is the top contender, and Hooker wants that matchup because most fighters avoid Ilia and use excuses to stay away. Hooker believes a win over Arman would let him jump the queue, moving him from outside the top 5 straight into the #1 contender position, which makes the opportunity even more exciting for him.
He's the #1 contender that needs a win in the division, and that's why I chased this fight and I asked for this fight, and I'll nag the UFC to give me this fight, is because I knew no one between myself and Arman Tsarukyan would want to fight Arman Tsarukyan because they got a good excuse to avoid him. You know, he did pull out of that fight with the bad back, and so the champion and guys, the bigger name guys in the division like Agee, they have a good excuse to not fight him. I believe it's because he is the most skillful fighter in the division. But these other guys have a good reason to not fight him, and I knew that with a win over Arman Tsarukyan, I get to jump the queue. I get to jump from outside the top 5 to the #1 contender in the division. So
Dan Hooker also outlines his plans for after a win over Arman. He explains that with 2 titles in the division, he can target either the BMF belt or the Undisputed Championship. He adds that if he gets the victory, one of those fights is next for him.
I am a fun guy, but I also want to be a champion.
Well, there's also a belt for fun guys, actually, and it happens to be in your division.
I completely forgot about the BMF.
Is that something that you would entertain, obviously?
Obviously, you get arm raised against Arman, you're getting the title, shot. You know, that's the beauty of there being two titles in our division. Yeah, I beat Arman, I can walk in and fight for the BMF or the Undisputed title, but it'll be one of those fights.
On the other hand, Daniel Dariush admits it's difficult to pick Arman Tsarukyan in this fight. He says Dan Hooker doesn't have many advantages except for his fighting spirit if the bout turns into a pure striking match. Dariush notes that Hooker would perform well in that scenario, but he doesn't think Arman will let it happen. He ultimately chooses Arman to win.
I mean, it's tough to pick against Arman in this fight. I don't really see Dan having too many advantages in this fight. The only thing I can really think of as far as having an advantage in, I would say Dan has, he's got that dog in him. So if it turns into a punching match, man, Dan's going to be great there. But I just don't think Arman necessarily needs it to be a punching match. So yeah, I would definitely got Arman on that one.
Similarly, Walter Walker predicts Arman Tsarukyan will win this match. He says Arman has the more complete skill set with strong wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and striking. Walker also believes Arman is hungrier, pointing out that he waited a long time without fighting after pulling out of a title shot. In his view, that break makes Arman even more motivated heading into the fight.
Yeah, I'm with Arman Tsarukyan. I think he's gonna win that fight. I think he has more more, how I can say you, like complete game. He can wrestling, he can jiu-jitsu, he can striking. I think he like fighter, he like more better. And I think he more hungry, you know, like he long time don't fight. Here is on the title shot and he pull out. He sit on the freezer for like 2 years, almost 2 years, yeah. And now he coming back. I think this guy hungry.
On the contrary, Anthony Hernandez's coach, Jim West, wants Dan Hooker to win, but he assesses the matchup realistically. He explains that Arman Tsarukyan's grappling and conditioning are elite, and the key question is whether Hooker can keep up for the full fight. West admits he can't pick with his heart, so he expects Arman to come out on top, even though he is cheering for Hooker.
Well, I want to see Dan Hooker win, but again, I think it's very similar, right? Like Arman can grapple his off and he's got great conditioning. It's whether or not Dan's going to be able to withstand that for the duration, right? So I want Dan to win, like, but I can't bet with my heart. so I have to say Arman will win. But I want Dan Hooker to win.
And that's all we have from today's video, and we hope you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing MMA videos.